Inverse variation. Our objectives. At the end of this presentation, we should be able to define inverse variation, illustrate situations that involves inverse variation, translate into inverse variation statement of relationship between two quantities, solve problems involving inverse variation. Let's start. What is inverse variation? If two variables are related such that an increase in one produces a proportional decrease in the other, then the variables are said to vary inversely. In layman's term, as one variable increases, the other variable decreases. In symbols, if y varies inversely as x and k is a non-zero constant of inverse variation, then y is equal to k over x and the constant k is equal to x times y. Example: translate the following statement into mathematical equation using k as the constant of variation. The variable a varies inversely as b. Therefore, it is a is equal to k over b. The price p is inversely proportional to the number of items n. In mathematical equation, that is, p is equal to k over n. The salary S of a boy varies inversely as the number of hours h he works. In mathematical equation, that is, S is equal to k over h. The volume V of a gas varies inversely as the pressure P. In mathematical equation, that is, V is equal to k over P. The length L of a guitar string varies inversely as the frequency F of its vibration. In mathematical equation, that is, L is equal to k over F. Example number 2. If y varies inversely as x and y is equal to 9 when x equals to 8, find y when x equals to 12. Just like on our previous lesson about the direct variation, we need to translate the given statement into mathematical equation. Therefore, we'll be translating if y varies inversely as x. In mathematical equation, that is, y is equal to k over x. To find the value of k, just simply multiply the value of x and y. Therefore, our formula is k is equal to x multiplied by y. The two given number, the values of x and the value of y, will be used to find for the value of k. Therefore, the value of x, which is 8, and the value of y is 9. Let's substitute to the given formula, which is k is equal to x times y. Substituting the given number will give us k is equal to 8 multiplied by 9. Multiplying 8 by 9 will give us a product of 72. 72 is the constant of variation. After getting the constant of variation, we can now proceed in finding for the equation of the variation. To find for the equation of the variation, just simply substitute the value of k to our original equation y is equal to k over x. Therefore, we have y is equal to 72 over x. This is now our equation of variation. After getting the equation of the variation, we can now find y when x is equals to 12. Just substitute the value of x, which is 12, to our equation of the variation. Therefore, we have y is equal to 72 over 12. Dividing 72 by 12 will give us a quotient of 6. Therefore, the value of y when x is equal to 12 is 6. Let's check our solution. Example number 3. Which of the following table expresses inverse variation? For those that express inverse variation, determine the constant of the variation and the equation of the variation. By the definition of inverse variation, it states that as one variable increases, the other variable should be decreases. Therefore, if both variable increases or decreases, it will not become an inverse variation. However, even though that one variable increases and the other variable decreases, it will not be necessarily that it is an inverse variation. Remember that the given table should have the constant of variation, and they should be equal. Now, how to identify what is the constant of variation? We can get the constant of variation by simply multiplying one by one the x and y variable. In this case, I will be multiplying 2 by 12 will give us a product of 24. 3 by 8 is 24 also, and 4 multiplied by 6 is 24 also. As you notice, they are equal. Therefore, this is an example of an inverse variation. 24 is your constant of variation, so k is equal to 24. Now, let's determine the equation of the variation. Translate the given table into mathematical equation. Reading this table is y varies inversely as x. So we can write this as y is equal to k over x. Remember that the lower part or the lower variable will be varies inversely to the upper part or the upper part of a variable. Now, since we already get the given equation, we can now substitute the given value of k so that we can have the equation of the variation. Therefore, we have y is equal to 24 over x. This is now the equation of the variation. For example B, obviously that this is not an example of the inverse variation since the variable x are increasing as well as the variable y is also increasing. Example number 4. 8 men can finish a job in 15 days. In how many days can 6 men finish the same job? This is an example of a work problem. Now, let's represent the number of men by m and the number of days by d. Therefore, our mathematical equation can be the number of men varies inversely as the number of days. To get for the value of the constant of variation, we have k is equal to m times d. What are the values of m and d? For m, the given values is 8 men. And for the number of days, we have 15 days. After getting this specific value, we can now find for the value of k. So k is equal to m times d. Just simply substitute the given value. So we have k is equal to 8 times 15. Multiplying 8 by 15 will give us a product of 120. So this is now your constant of variation. After getting the constant of variation, we can now proceed in finding for the equation of the variation. So to get the equation of the variation, just simply substitute k by 120. So we have m is equal to 120 over d. So this is now your equation of the variation. After getting the equation of the variation, we can now answer the question, how many days can 6 men finish the same job? We will just simply substitute by the given value of the number of men, which is 6. So we have 6 is equal to 120 over d. Now, we want to eliminate d on the denominator. So we can multiply both sides of the equation by d. Or in other book, you can actually cross multiply it. So multiplying both sides of the equation by d, so d will be cancelled out, and multiplying d by 6 will give us an answer of 6d. Then just simply copy 120. Since we already want to find for the variable d, we will be dividing both sides of the equation by 6. So this will be cancelled out. What left is d. And then dividing 120 by 6 will give us a quotient of 20. Therefore, we can conclude that 6 men can finish the same job within 20 days. Thank you.